Happy weekend, everyone. I want to make some reference to my projections for 2025. The second projection was persecution, and I saw decapitation. And if you look at what just happened last week in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where 70 people were in church and they were all kidnapped and all decapitated. I was in a vision and the Lord showed me. It was so horrific and it was so disturbing. And that's why I made those projections. In the book of Acts chapter 12, we saw that James was killed. And Herod went further to pick Peter. But the scripture says that prayer was made. Prayer was offered as an offering. The right quorum, consistency and persistency in prayer. When Peter was delivered. Not all the persecution of the church should come true, because people don't even know the times that we are now. The spirit of the Antichrist is ravaging the world. This is his time. But not all the persecution should go through. There are some that can be avoided. And that's why the Lord is graciously showing us, so that we can pray. That's why I'm inviting you to join us in redeeming the times. God has graciously given us insight, prophetic insight, eschatological insight into the things that will befall this world. Honestly speaking, wake up from your sleep. The right quorum is needed. The right quorum is needed. Like what I said, not all the persecution should go through. There are some that can be avoided. And that's why the Lord is showing us in vision, so that we can draw the attention of the saints. The ones that cannot be avoided will bring forth the glory of God, because the persistency, the consistency, and the steadfastness of the saints during the persecution will be a message that will stir up revival and will lead so many to Christ. But it's so unfortunate that the average believer today is just thinking about himself. You see them in the content of their prayers, thinking about themselves. And if we choose not to wake up and intercede for the saints, the persecution will come to our doorstep. And are we ready to face these persecutions? Are we ready? Let us see what is happening in DRC. Just watch this.
The beheaded remains of 70 people were discovered over the weekend at the abandoned Kasanga Protestant Church in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The victims were allegedly taken hostage by the Allied Democratic Forces, an Islamist extremist group with ties to the Islamic State, and held for several days before being killed. According to Open Doors International, many of the bodies found in the church belonged to individuals kidnapped by the ADF during various attacks in the Lubero territory. The militant group has been particularly active in these regions in recent times. Since the late 1990s, the Allied Democratic Forces have carried out brutal massacres, kidnappings and lootings in the area, often collaborating with other militias and armed leaders. The group is considered one of the deadliest armed factions in the Kivu region. The Democratic Republic of Congo now ranks 35th on the Open Doors International's World Watch List, having risen 6 places since last year due to an increase in violence against Christians. An Open Doors spokesperson, John Samuel, has called on the international Christian community to remain in prayer for Christians and vulnerable communities in eastern DRC. He said, quote, "Pray for an end to violence and that the government at all levels will diligently, impartially and transparently address the violence and its effects. Pray for the church in the Lubero territory as it seeks to bring physical and spiritual assistance to the families affected." End quote.